everyone, and welcome to the channel. My name is Shanira, and this is Talking Crime. On today's video, we're going to talk about a case that's out of Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. But before we get started, you guys don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like this video. And also, don't forget to drop a comment down below. I would love to hear your opinions about this story. Now, this story is about a young lady named Treonna Washington. Treonna Washington was 20 years old, and she dated a guy by the name of Jason Banks Jr. Now, Treonna was loving, caring, and she wanted to be a nurse. Her family and friends described her as this warm-hearted person, a person that knew what she wanted and went for it, and she worked hard for it. Treonna, when she was 16 years old, she wound up getting a job. Not to say that she needed it because her family spoiled her to death, but Treonna was about her business and she started early. Now, Treonna had 7 brothers and 3 sisters. She was the eldest of her siblings and she loved them to death. Treonna had a warm, bright spirit, and she was nature at caring for people. Treonna would graduate in 2022, a little while after her grandmother's death. Now, her grandmother wound up getting killed standing on her front porch. There were some guys in a vehicle that rolled by and shot at the grandmother's house, but the bullets was not intended for her, but she wound up getting shot and killed.
Now, in the shooting death of a local mother and grandmother. So far, though, they're not saying who it is. Last month, Kristen Barfield was shot and killed as she sat on her front porch in Washington, PA. Police say the shooters were aiming at her son, who was nearby, but hit Barfield instead.
Now, moving forward, 2 years later, Treonna would lose her life by the hands of someone she thought loved her. Now, people fail to realize that this happens a lot in our communities, and not just older people. Now it's starting to be teenagers and also early 20s and 30s. You guys, this situation is getting even more serious. Not to say it wasn't serious then, but it's getting really serious now. A lot of people are now losing their lives by the hands of someone they thought loved them, all because that person could not separate themselves from the other. You guys, Treonna was a person that suffered these things. Treonna was in a domestic violence situation, and unfortunately, it was too late for her to get out of. On August 16, 2024, Treonna and her boyfriend, Jason, will get into a heated argument. How we know this? Because a neighbor has a ring camera, and y'all, those ring cameras definitely now come in handy. This neighbor had a ring camera and caught the assault and the attempt to push Treonna down a flight of stairs. Her and Jason will get into a heated argument, showing that Jason shoving her and also assaulting her. Treonna and Jason would a clear view of this camera, so their argument was not caught on camera anymore. It's like they went in a house or something. Later on that night, a ring camera would catch Treonna, her boyfriend, and another person walking down towards an alley. A little while later, a gunshot ring out, and then after that, you hear a motorcycle in the background. But come to find out, that motorcycle had nothing to do with the situation.
Now, state police are in the neighborhood. They're over here on Wade Street. Now, there's also police presence at the field down the road as well. Back here by some steps where that railing is on Reed Street where we are, that's where police tell us the body was found. Now, I want you to listen to this real quickly. Here's some doorbell video from a neighbor who heard a shot fired last night. So you hear the shot. That was a minute before 10 last night, and then a motorcycle came down about a minute and a half later. Now, police sources tell KDK there were a couple calls of shots fired around 10 last night. Some said they heard a car driving away afterwards. It could have been that motorcycle that we heard on that video. Now, sources say police responded and didn't see anything at the time. They tell us there's a chance those shot fired calls could have been a ricochet that made the callers believe the shots they heard were a little closer to them. So, police responded to a different area last night than where this body was found this morning. Now, police sources tell us a man was walking his dog earlier when he found the woman's body right where that railing and those steps are that we referenced earlier. Police were out here in this alley earlier. It was closed off. Now it's opened up as they move through other parts of the neighborhood trying to figure out what happened, trying to piece things together. We'll be sure to let you know any information as we get it. In Aliquippa, I'm Joe Lacasio-Dele, KDK TV News.
Now, the friend that walked down the alley was friends of Jason's. It was actually Jason's roommate. So, of course, this was Jason's friend, and he was definitely a witness. Eventually, they start searching for Treonna's killer because at first they didn't know who it was. They assumed that it could have been a car that passed by or that motorcycle. But later, 72 hours later, to be exact, they would find out that it was Treonna's boyfriend that killed her, shooting her in the head in the alley. The next morning, Treonna would be found, all because a man was walking his dog, found Treonna's body in an alley. He would call police, and the police would get there and realize it was a 20-year-old girl, and that 20-year-old girl was Treonna. You guys, Treonna Washington was an outstanding young lady. And unfortunately, her death caused everybody to be upset and angry, especially her family. Her father, auntie, and brother spoke out. On the other hand, her mother was so shocked that this happened to her beautiful young lady, giving out a photo of her daughter being at a wedding before. And also, she couldn't even talk in front of cameras. You guys, this young lady, of course, she was 20, but this was devastating. This is somebody's daughter. This is somebody's child. This is somebody's baby that was taken by the hands of somebody that they thought loved her. Treonna will unfortunately lose her life, and in such a horrible way. Jason would later go to court, and the friend of Jason would testify that Jason told him not to tell anyone about the shooting. He also stated that he didn't actually see Jason shoot her, but he heard the gunshot. And also, he said that, yeah, they both, all three of them walked down the alley. So he was assuming that Jason did kill Treonna. And plus, he said, don't tell anyone. That was obvious. But you guys, unfortunately, this event is common. Like, it's happening every time you turn around. And the more these channels on YouTube and the Oxygen channel speaks out, the more aware people will get. You guys, Treonna in a couple of months will have been 21 years old. Unfortunately, this was tragic. It was even tragic that this was 2 years apart from her grandmother's murder. And yes, they did arrest about 3 people in the case of the grandmother. And it was said that the shooting was not meant to hit her, but it tragically killed her. And then Treonna had to witness an experience burying her grandmother. And then 2 years later, Treonna's life will be taken short. Very short. You guys, we are going to continue to pray for Treonna Washington's parents, her loved ones, her 7 brothers and 3 sisters. This was very tragic, you guys. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to share. We need to keep pushing these videos out so people can see that they are not alone and other people can figure out ways to support these people that are going through domestic violence situations. And let's remember, men and women can be a product to being in a domestic violence situation, whether it's physically or mentally. None of it is okay. So, you guys, don't forget to like, comment, and share to this channel and continue to watch more of my videos. Thanks for the support. And you guys, I'll catch you later. Peace.